Hi, welcome to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. It's great to talk about stories that made a massive impact in my life, especially as a healer. Those stories which are true encounters of energy and how it works. I think it's important that to dispel some of the notions that dark energy and evil and demons and that reside within and around us. Sometimes it's good to get an overall understanding of certain circumstances, situations, and certain experiences that a lot of us have. I mean, some people have been thrown across the room, some people have been flipped upside down, some people have been lifted off the ground, some people have been banged about, and many things happen that others never even encounter in a lifetime, never even understand. So to those who haven't experienced, it's very difficult. It's like, oh, come on, something wrong with you, mate. You know, you've lost your marbles. But to others who have actually worked in the field of energy, worked as healers and seen people who have been distraught. I mean, you know, if a doctor says to you, look, there's a disease and this is what it does to you, and you've never heard of that, you just go, really? But if you are actually working as a doctor and you see these unusual, let's say, toxicity that is causing great harm to the body, you're just like, nah, you know. But a healer is different, you know, because they can be mocked and laughed at. But a doctor, not so much. So it's really funny how it works. So I'm going to take you through something because I had a few messages this morning saying, please elaborate. So I do videos in the morning, most mornings, just having just a gentle chat. And this morning happened to be a morning where I was very close to a shop that I used to work in for many years. Now the shop was a health shop, and it was called Vitamina. It's no longer Vitamina. Anna Greta retired, but at the time I started my healing work, and it was also wonderful. And I remember going into the shop often because they sold natural oils. I was fascinated by natural oils, and at that particular time I was working on my oils, as you see behind me, still there. So she would have a selection of oils, not many, but a selection of them, and also a couple of cabinets filled with crystals. And of course, I was very curious about crystals. One particular crystal I used to go down many weeks just to look at and wonder if it was still there. So I wasn't rich, I didn't have much money, but it was a sphere. It was about this big, about the size, about this size. It was a round ball, and it was made of a crystal which is called moonstone, and it was a rainbow moonstone. So you can imagine when you looked at it, it just like mesmerizing. And there was something about that crystal that, you know, the crystal calls you, always chooses you. And every time I'd finish my healing sessions, which might have been 5, 6, 7, I'd go down and buy another oil because I used to give oils away after a healing session. So replenishing the oils were very important. And I looked at this crystal and I said, oh, Anna, I said, this crystal is beautiful. And she said, are you Mark Bajerski? And I said, yeah, I am. She said, people are talking about you. I went, oh, okay. Like the way I do. Oh God, I hope it's not bad things. And she said, would you be prepared to work here? And I went, well, I work just up the road, so why? She says, well, I have a lot of clients, and I'm sure if I put a big sign up on the window that, you know, you're doing your work here, say once a month, that I could fully book you out. And I said, well, I don't really need it, but, you know, if you want me to, okay, we'll do a day. Make no difference. I'm working up here full time, so I'll do a day down there and get out of the office a bit, get out of the healing room. Nice for a change. She took me downstairs where I will be doing my work, and there was 2 healing beds at either side of a lot of boxes that she had with stock. And she said, I'll tidy it all up, and she said, I'll put a table here for you so you can do your readings and healing at the back. And I said, perfect. So I remember going down, and one of my first clients is what I talked about this morning. One of my first clients was a German lady. She was in her 70s, and she used to ride a bike to Vitamina and get off the bike. She spoke very, very little English. In fact, none at all. A few words like thank you, and that was it. But most of it was Spanish. She spoke broken Spanish, very broken. But because she was German and Anna Greta could speak German, so this woman came downstairs. Now, it's always a blessing for me when nobody can speak. This woman came for a healing session, not a psychic reading. Obviously, she wouldn't understand, but she came for a healing session. And when you come downstairs, when you come into my healing room, I don't want to know anything anyway. I'll find it, don't worry. So I laid the lady down, and I remember I had this little piece of Moldavite. And I started the healing work, and I rubbed some healing oil on her stomach. And she actually did it. I used to give the oil in the palm of the hand. They'd rub it, and then I was pointing to her stomach, so she'd rub it all over her stomach. So she lied down, and I put the music on, and put a piece of Moldavite on her third eye. Now, the healing started taking place, and something was happening at that particular time with some of my clients. Not many, but some of them. And of course, I was so fascinated by Moldavite, I was hoping the occurrence would continue with every client, but it didn't. But this particular day, this morning, when this German lady came, I placed the piece of Moldavite on her third eye and put my hand over her head, or maybe two hands over her head, while I was sat down. She was lying down, I'm sat there. And all of a sudden, the breathing started. So I realized she's going into a certain mode. And this breathing was always happened. It always accompanied what was going to happen next. And it was almost like somebody blowing out really hard and fast, like that. Weird. But certain people did it. What happened thereafter was something even more fascinating. And that's the Moldavite tongue. So it would be a conversation they would be having, and I would be trying to listen. But at this particular point, something even more bizarre happened. As I'm doing the healing work and I'm listening to her talking in this Moldavite tongue, I'm like curious, because her coat, her jacket was off, and the sheet that I normally put on them was, I think, a little bit lower than her stomach. And she had like just a skimpy, she used to wear skimpy clothes. I don't know why, but she wore skimpy clothes. So it was just a thin, almost see-through silk or some kind of top. But what I was looking at as I was looking down over her head was her stomach. And yeah, I kid you not, all of a sudden the stomach went like this. And I like, did her stomach just move? Her hands are down by her side. Again, I'm looking. Like, this is like, whoa, what is this? Like, and I'm like, okay, continue. Whatever you're doing, something is happening. The healing work is obviously working. Something's happening. And I don't often talk about this story, very, very, very occasionally. But it was like, it started to look like, do you remember the film with Sigourney Weaver? It was called Aliens, that there was something inside somebody's stomach, like burst out. Well, it kind of looked a little bit like the beginning of that. So this was really freaky. But funnily enough, it didn't really affect me. I was curious. And ashamed to say, the only time I've ever done this in my healing career, and I guess I had to go through this, my phone, which was playing music, at the side of me, I took it out and filmed the stomach area without permission. She was asleep. She was making all of these noises, and I was filming. The talking had gone now, subsided, but the stomach was going into real strange movements. And yeah, I filmed it for about 5 seconds and then stopped. I kind of ashamed I did it anyway because I never even asked permission. And yeah, after the session, I just cancelled it. I was going to show my mentor, but then my teacher, my guide, like, look at this. But nah, something didn't feel right. Take it off. And that was the only time I really did anything that I was ashamed of, that I didn't say to my client. But I did cancel it and nobody ever saw it, just me. So I guess nobody, no harm, no foul, no harm. But I learned from that. I learned, Mark, respect, mate. Have respect, integrity. And yeah, so after that, I get up, music's still playing, I put the phone down at the side of me, I get up, and now I'm going to the stomach. Now I need to know what's going on. I need to feel what's going on. Well, my healing work was predominantly far from the client, but as time went on, it went closer and closer. So at this point, I was kind of about this far off the client, but this occasion, I went down a little bit lower just to feel the energy of what was going on inside the stomach. I actually wanted to know what it was, really. And I don't know if you've ever felt a pregnant mum when the baby kicks. Well, I'm telling you, that's how it felt. It felt like, this is an 80-year-old woman. She's not pregnant, for God's sake. What is this? So all of these thoughts are going in my mind at the same time as being a channel for spirit. And all the while, my mind was trying to comprehend and understand and accept and digest. But deep down, my heart was saying, it's okay, man. It's okay. Just keep going. And the words what were whispered, which I repeated, was, darkness cannot stay where light is shone. And I could feel the energy blasting the stomach. At this point, the client was getting very uncomfortable but fast asleep. So I could see her uncomfortable energy of her face, of her movements. And all I can tell you is that it felt like this baby was kicking hard and moving all over the place. About an hour and 20 minutes went by, and it should have been an hour, and my client was waiting upstairs, my next client. But then it ended. It stopped abruptly as it started. And I woke the lady up, and she started to cry. And she was trying to speak in German, telling me something I didn't really understand, but I gave her a hug. She went upstairs. I finished the day off by, I think, another 3 or 4 more clients I had. It might have been 5. And at the end of the day, Anna Greta said, the woman you healed, the German lady. I said, yeah. What? She said, Mark, she looked different. She looked like a different person. Interesting. I said, well, it was an interesting healing session. She said, yeah. So that was one of my first, well, I think probably second encounter of many others thereafter. And that encounter is of negative energy. People often talk about negative energy. They talk about spirit inside you, basically, that you've got an attachment or you have a psychic emergency. There's many different words, or you have evil inside you and things like that. But for me, I didn't feel evil inside this lady. I didn't feel that there was harm inside her, but I did feel that something was inside that shouldn't be there. And from that moment on, I could have researched The Exorcist. I could have done a lot of research with priests doing exorcisms, and I could have researched and studied more on the phenomena of this, but something said to me, it's just energy, Mark. See, everything is energy, whether it's the spacesuit that we have, but the spirit is within. Everything's energy. So why do you want to get involved in that? Why don't you just see it as energy, and you're going to clear the energy away? And from that moment on, that's what I did. So when anybody talked to me about exorcisms and people used to come to me with, oh, I've got a spirit inside me, I'd say it's just energy and we can clear it away. No problem. There was never a time that I did a healing session that energy didn't disappear. Because light, when you work with light, when you work with the spirit world, they know that energy is an energy that clears it away. How? Why? It's not that important. But what is important is that your client gets up and she feels better, and she smiles and she cries, and hey, she looks different. Her face has changed. There's no more influence. It's just you. So the negative energy that was there is gone. I saw this lady there after a few more times, and she came because she enjoyed it. She just enjoyed going to sleep. She said she slept better. Anna said that her life was much better. She wasn't in chaos anymore. She wasn't talking to herself as much. She wasn't getting angry. And I said, good, that's great. Nothing wrong with coming for a healing session. I mean, healing is good. And I was pleased for that. But that was the only encounter. Did I talk to her about that encounter? No, I didn't. Why? Why would I want to bring that up? Why would I want to focus on that? It's gone. It's not important. You don't need ego in there. Oh, guess what I just did to you? Who cares about that? You healed, you're better, you feel well, be on your way. Next, please. That's what it was like. So there is this other side of the dirty, murky world of Hollywood, the dirty, murky world of ego and look at me and celebrity, and I'm a celebrity exorcist and all that nonsense. Yes, you can exaggerate what you want, you can blow things out of proportion, but in my encounter over these 20 years of people who had negative energy inside them, it was always a great outcome, and it was easy to clear, and it wasn't a Hollywood style movie. It was quite simply something that we don't have all the answers to. And is it important, Mark, that we have all the answers? Well, out there it is, but in here, the only answer that's important is when your client gets up and she smiles and her life transforms and she feels happy and stronger and better. Isn't that the answer? The end result to anything is the answer. So the end result to me was the only thing that was important. So I wanted to share this story with you because somebody wanted me to elaborate on that story. I can't elaborate on placing my hand over negative energy and it disappearing other than that. That was it. Bit boring really, but actually if you trust in what's happening, if you trust in that process, if you trust that you do work with spirit because she's been brought to you and you're here, so why would you question it? Oh, I can't do it. Stop it. That's your brain talking. Yes, you can, because spirit's brought them here to you now to do the healing session. So there is something that you must have or be or contain or not contain that can help the situation. So just trust in it. And that's what I did. It was really that simple. I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed the story. It is a true story and it comes from my heart. And I guess the moral of the story is that we all have a gift to heal and cleanse and clear negative energy. Whether that's just a caring ear, whether that's a hand on somebody else's hand, whether it's a bit of a hug. We all have a natural healing ability, all of us. And if you are interested in learning more about how you are such an amazing healer, then please click the link below and join me personally on a 4-day pure energy healing course coming up this next month. Take care, guys. See you soon.